Like I sometimes used to eat like onion garlic. So can I take 8 to 12 from the 12 to 16
What? Sorry, I didn't understand.
for that Shiksha ceremony?
Hmm.
So we actually sometimes used to eat onion garlic. So
Okay.
can I take 8 to 12 rounds?
Can you chant 8 to 12 rounds?
Yes, I mean for Shiksha, like for Shiksha,
Hmm.
8 to 12 rounds. Can I take it?
Uh, I think so. There's no issue. You can chant 8 to 12 rounds, however convenient and time you have, you chant. For chanting, there is no restriction.
No, for that Shiksha actually.
For Shiksha, you ask
That,
your Bhakti Viksha. Hmm?
yes, Bhakti Shiksha.
Huh. From my understanding is that for chanting, there is no hard and fast rule.
Okay.
Okay. You can always increase your chanting.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start today's session. There is prayers on my screen. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvay Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati So Padantikam Vande Ham Shri Guroho Shukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tom Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vidhamsa हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वर विश्वभानुसुति देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वांछाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु भयवच पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So welcome to Bhakti Steps. We were reading from 14th chapter and we completed till chapter verse number 18. So 19 is what we need to start. So we went through all the three modes of material nature. Hmm? Let me just so we went through the three modes of material nature, various things we saw: general nature, binds, conditions, psychological type, general character of a person, right? As the name suggests, goodness will always have good things. Passion will be born of unlimited desires. There will be no satisfaction. In goodness, there will be satisfaction. There will be a knowledge, and there will be sense of happiness that I am superior. I don't do commit any sin. In passion, the sense of happiness is like more towards what I get out of it, how much I earn, how much possessions my increase, how much name, fame I get. Then it is passionate. There the happiness lies for passionate people. But the result is always misery. Passionate is always misery, and ignorance is like they are not considering anything. For them, good thing is bad thing is good thing. There it will be madness, indolence, sleep. Okay, so we went through this, and we will go to 10th. And we also saw one more thing. We also saw that these three modes, they are fighting with each other. Okay, because they are fighting with each other, and yeah, we made a very nice table. We made a nice table. Let's see. Yeah, no, not this table. Hmm. Oh, did we lose the table? Yeah, material nature has three modes. Everything in this world has so goodness, passion, and ignorance. Place, music, food, daytime, marriage, sleep, children, father, mother. You know, everything has these three modes. Now, these three modes are fighting with each other. Sometimes tamas will win, sometimes rajas will win, sometimes sattva will win. Now we have to figure out in every situation how we can move towards sattva. Okay, if a situation is tamas, how we can move towards sattva. If a situation is rajas, how we can move towards sattva. If it is sattva, how we can maintain the sattva. Okay, let's take the example of food. Now, if there is a food that we have to keep it in sattva, then how we'll keep it in sattva? Can you give me example? How to keep the food in goodness, mode of goodness?
If we give to the bhoga to Krishna, then it would be sattva always.
Let's say you're traveling and there is no, that you cannot cook yourself. Now you have to buy from outside. How will you keep it in sattva? Yes. How will you keep
Eat
that in
only
sattva?
fruit
Huh?
or eat only fruits or like dry baby food.
Yes. You will go for fruits. You will go for some vegetables. You may go for some grapes. To keep these things in sattva, you may go for some milk. Now let's say you have to eat the full food. Let's say you have children, wife, husband, everybody. Now you have to keep everything in sattva, and not everyone is going to remain on fruits or milk. They need a whole plate. Then how will you keep it in sattva? Let's say you reached Mysore railway station. Now you want to eat because family wants to eat. Everyone cannot just remain fruits and milk. How will you keep yourself in sattva? All that you cooked from Bangalore is over. 2 hours journey, everything got over. You cannot cook in Mysore. You are at the railway station. Now what will you do? Fruits and milk enough. Not everyone is going to take. How will you still keep it in sattva?
It's very difficult, Prabhuji, because
So yeah, I'm asking you, what are the solutions?
only taking
Uh,
is Mataji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, we can have offered tulsi with us, and
Hmm.
when we are going for like not homemade food, we can offer that. We can put that offered tulsi, and we can have the like prasada mantra, and we can have it.
What will you buy? Where will you
Oh,
buy?
that is without like onion, garlic, and like
Yes.
that.
Any restaurant will say, okay, we'll make onion garlic. Will you accept that?
No, no.
Then what will you say?
Where we will get the sattvic food like
Where will get?
without onion, garlic.
Where will get?
Mandi,
Okay.
nearby me.
Temple. If there is a ISKCON temple, if there is another temple, then yes, that is there. If let's say these two are not there, then let's say devotee is also not there. Then
Best option, Prabhuji, if we don't go that place, there is some difficulties to find food.
no, there
So
is
that
there we have to go to places. We are married people. We have to go to some marriage. In that marriage, everything won't be without onion garlic, right? If it's your brother's marriage, your sister's marriage, are you going to say, I'm Hare Krishna now, I cannot come? They'll say, I don't care for your Hare Krishna. You're not maintaining relationship. What is this? Does Krishna did like that with Subhadra? With Draupadi did like that? They will tell you like that. How will you answer all this?
no idea, Prabhuji.
What? No idea. There is idea. You may look for a vegetarian restaurant, pure vegetarian restaurant, and there you may tell without onion garlic, isn't it? And there in the mind you can offer that food. It's not prepared best way, best people or that, but it is without onion garlic. It's a vegetarian food. That whole place is for vegetarian food only. So you don't have to worry, okay, something got mixed or something. Right? Isn't it? Is this
But
is this
Prabhuji,
hmm.
vegetarian restaurant, most of the vegetarian restaurant used onion garlic.
Sorry?
Uh, Most of the vegetarian restaurant used onion garlic, and if we say that please make some food without onion garlic, so they will use the same pan to make those food. So it's not would be the like pure like
We may look for some better options, we may look for some better options. They will tell this is made without onion garlic. We add onion garlic later on and all that. See, the thing is, we cannot keep ourselves starving. Neither we can keep our family members starving. Okay, we don't have to die. You understand this point? You don't have to die.
yes, ma'am.
You have to find the solution. You have to find the best solution. Fruits, milk, like you said. Sometimes simple rice. Rice vessels are never mixed. Even milk vessels are never mixed. So you can take rice, you can take pickle, you can take yogurt. Vessels are not mixed. So when we start thinking of it, we will understand how to keep things in sattva, how to keep things in goodness, isn't it?
Yes,
Look,
ma'am.
similarly, we just talked about food. Now we can go to everything that we face in this world: music, place, daytime, marriage, sleep, everything. And we will try how to keep everything in sattva. It may not be the best case, but it will be like not the worst case either. Hmm? You getting? It may not be the best case scenario. Best case scenario is if there is a devotee, he's making, that's a best case scenario. But that is not always the case. Na? You may land in some places, nothing will be there. So you have to look for those things by which you can keep yourself in sattva. See, there are some devotees who serve in army, who serve in navy, who serve in air force, who serve, in very very remote places, but they try to keep the sattva. It is difficult, I agree, it is difficult, but they will try to keep the best of the best of the best. You understand this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, there was one devotee, he was in US army and he was deployed in Iraq. So in US army it is like, they eat non-vegetarian food day night. It is impossible to get. So still this devotee somehow managed. He ate peanuts. He ate sometimes some things which were never touched, which were made separately. Okay, fruits. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that we will get into situations where it is very difficult to follow. Then we should try to keep things in sattva as much as possible. Hmm? Does that help?
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. If there are any questions or comments, you can always interrupt me. We'll go further with text number 19, and I think 4 pages. Okay. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these three modes, and he knows the Supreme Lord who is transcendent to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. So when we start identifying how these modes are working, okay, then we know, okay, how this world is working. Then we know that the Supreme Lord is actually controlling all these things. Okay, the three modes are under his control. The moment we'll understand this, then we'll attain his spiritual nature. Can someone read this highlighted section?
Yes, Prabhuji. I'll- Actually, the living entity is not the performer of different activities. He is forced to act because he is situated in a particular type of body, conducted by some particular mode of material nature. Unless one has the help of spiritual authority, he cannot understand in what position he is actually situated. With the association of a bona fide spiritual master, he can see his real position, and by such an understanding, he can become fixed in full Krishna consciousness.
So here, we have to take help of spiritual authority, especially spiritual master and senior devotees who have gone through this. Now, I have Matajis in this call. How many of you have children? You can say one, two, how many? How many of you have children?
One Prabhuji.
One. So when you had a child, you didn't know what is going to happen, right? So whom did you ask what happens after having a child? Whom did you ask? Did you ask anybody? Did someone come to help you?
Our parents, Prabhu,
Your
like
mother came, right? Your mother came, isn't it?
yes, sir.
Yeah. So those who are experienced in it, when we take their help, we can understand what to do in certain situations. Spiritual master is the highest experienced personality in spiritual life. Okay, he's pure also and he's highly experienced. Under his guidance, we can know what to do, what how to do. Hmm? So we have to take help. We have to take help of spiritual devotees and guru and the shastras also. Okay. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distress, and he can enjoy nectar even in this life. So now the question has come is transcend these three modes. So I was telling, okay, come in sattva, but actually we have to go beyond sattva also. That is where pure devotional service is performed. Transcend means to go beyond these three modes. There is Shuddha Sattva. There is one more thing which is called Shuddha Sattva. When one reaches that, then he becomes free from birth, old age, distress, and everything. Although one is within this material body, by advancing in his spiritual knowledge, he can become free from influence of the modes of material nature. He can enjoy the happiness of spiritual life, even in this body. After this body, he is certainly going to go into spiritual sky, Vaikuntha planets, or Brahman, Jyoti. But even in this body, he can enjoy spiritual happiness. In other words, devotional service in Krishna consciousness is a sign of liberation from material entanglement. And this will be explained in the 18th chapter. In the 18th chapter, more things will be there. When one is freed from the influence of modes of material nature, he enters into devotional service. Arjuna inquired. Now, very good question Arjuna asks. What he asks, okay, you are telling one should transcend these three modes, one should be in sattva, right? He's telling Krishna. So tell me example. Now tell me example. How do we know that one who has transcended, these three modes? How he walks, how he sits, how is his behavior? So this is what he's asking. Oh my dear Krishna, by what symptoms is one knows who is transcendental to these three modes? Who is gone beyond these three modes? Tell me how. What are the symptoms? What is the symptom of fever? What is the symptom of fever?
High temperature.
High temperature, right? Similarly, he is asking, what is the symptom of those who go beyond the three modes? What is his behavior? How does he transcend the three modes? Okay, so he wants to know all the symptoms. Okay. So Supreme Personal Godhead Sri Krishna said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, delusion when they are present and or long for them when they disappear. Who is unwavering, undisturbed through all these reactions of material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental. knowing that the modes alone are active, who are situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who look upon a lump of earth, stone, piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal to us, desirable, undesirable, who is steady, situated, equally well in praise, blame, honor, and dishonor, who treats alike both friends and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the three modes of material nature. So Krishna gives the symptoms. 56, 7. Okay. 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 Can someone read from the first line? Arjuna submitted. Yeah, read.
Arjuna submitted three different questions, and the Lord answers them one after another. In these verses, Krishna first indicates that a person transcendentally situated has no envy, and does not hanker for anything. When a living entity, Prabhu, you want me to read
Yeah, yes,
everything
all
or
of it,
just the
all of it.
highlighted?
No,
Okay,
no, all of
okay.
it.
When a living entity stays in this material world, embodied by the material body, it is to be understood that he is under the control of one of the three modes of material nature. When he is actually out of the body, then he's out of the clutches of material modes of nature. But as long as he is not out of material body, he should be neutral. He should engage himself in devotional services of the Lord so that his identity with the material body will automatically be forgotten. When one is conscious of the material body, he acts only for sense gratification. But when one transfers the consciousness to Krishna, Krishna consciousness. One second, Papa, I've lost it. When one is conscious of the material body, he acts only for sense gratification. But when one transfers the consciousness to Krishna, sense gratification automatically stops. One does not need this material body, and he does not need to accept the dictation of material body. The qualities of the material modes in the body will act, but as spirit soul, the self is aloof from such activities. How does he become aloof? He does not desire to enjoy the body, nor does he desire to get out of it. Thus, transcendentally situated, the devotee becomes automatically free. He need not try to become free from the influence of modes of material nature. The next question concerns the dealing of transcendently situated
Okay.
person. The materially situated person is affected by so called honor, dishonor offered to the body. But the transcendentally situated person is not affected by such false honor and dishonor. He performs his duties in Krishna consciousness and does not mind whether a man honors or dishonors him. He accepts things that are favorable for his duties in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, he has no necessity of anything material, either a stone or a gold. He takes everyone as his dear friend who helps him in this execution of Krishna consciousness, and he does not hate his so called enemy. He is equally disposed and sees everything on a equal level because he knows perfectly well that he has nothing to do with the material existence. Social and political issues do not affect him because he knows the situation of temporary upheavals, and disturbances. He does not attempt anything of its own sake. He can attempt anything. He can attempt anything for Krishna, but for his personal self, he does not attempt anything. By such behavior, one becomes actually transcendently situated. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So two things are there in this verse. So he said, by what symptoms does one know that he's transcended? What is behavior and how he transcends? Okay. So first two questions are answered. Like, see, there is internal symptoms of transcending the modes, and then there is external symptoms. Internal symptoms are that he's not affected. He doesn't hate illumination. He doesn't hate attachment or delusion when they are present, or long for them when they disappear. Whether good things happen with him or bad things happen with him, he is not at all worried. Or let me put it other way. This is internal. Internal means, see, we are attached to certain things, isn't it? We are confused of certain things. Hmm? And we desire certain things, and certain things are there in our life. Okay. So internally we may show some attachment, delusion, and all that. So three modes of material nature, one who has transcended the three modes, he's not neither attached, he's neither hating the illumination, he's neither delusioned. All these three. Okay. And then externally situations happen in his life. There is happiness, distress. He's neutral to all these things. And externally, when he sees a earth, stone, piece of gold, he sees with equal eye. Who is the person who sees earth, stone, piece of gold with an equal eye? Can you tell me? Who is such a person? Can you give me example?
Isn't Prabhu who's Krishna, who's a true devotee, who understands and sees
Yeah,
everything
yeah. One is a
equally?
sadhu. Yes, one is a
Sadhu.
sadhu. Another example. Sadhu is able to see these things same eye. So he doesn't pick up, he's neither attached to these things. Okay. Another one is baby. For a baby, piece of gold, stone, or earth is same, right? Isn't it? If your mother, he will put anything in his mouth because for him that is all the same. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes,
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 Prabhu.
Prabhu.
So is Krishna talking about a baby here?
No.
You need to explain why. Why a baby cannot fit in this equation or this particular shloka? My argument is he sees the earth, the stone, a piece of gold with equal eye. Is the baby neutral? Is the baby attached? Is the baby alike in happiness, distress? No. But a sadhu is like that. In praise, blame, honor, dishonor, he treats both friends and enemies equal. So a person having one quality may not be qualified for this whole shloka. Okay, he needs to have all of it. Samatva, he should see things equally. Internally, he should be detached. He should see things externally with equal eye. And especially when praise, blame, honor, dishonor, enemy, friend comes, he should be neutral to all of this. Now, interestingly, we are talking about a sadhu, but even Arjuna is a sadhu. How can Arjuna treat both friends and enemy alike? So, what does this statement means is one will reciprocate the way the friend and enemy will reciprocate. A friend will reciprocate with love, we will reciprocate back with love. Enemy will reciprocate with what? Enemy, fighting, argument, right? We will reciprocate the same way to that. But internally, we will be detached. See, Yudhishthir Maharaj was Ajata Shatru. There was no enemy of him. Is it true statement or false statement? Yudhishthir Maharaj had no enemy, Ajata Shatru.
It's true statement, Prabhu.
But Duryodhana was his enemy.
Yes, it's also true.
So actually it is true statement. See, for Duryodhan, Yudhishthir was enemy. But for Yudhishthir, was Duryodhan enemy?
No, brother.
Yeah. So he was able to treat him alike. Even though Duryodhan did so much of insults and so many stupid things he did, he put them, tried to kill them and all that, but still Yudhishthir Maharaj, when it was considered, he would see them as friend only. He was able to treat them both friend and enemy like. But when it came to war, because Duryodhan fought, he also fought. But internally, he would never see Duryodhan as someone he has to like an enemy kind of thing. He has to just respond to what Duryodhan was doing. So once Duryodhan was caught by a Gandharva. He was caught, his families were caught, his wives were caught, his brothers were caught. The Gandharvas were too strong. Then somehow Yudhishthir Maharaj came to know. You know what he did? He told Arjuna, you go and fight and get this Duryodhan free. And everyone was saying, why, Baba? The what we have to do after 13 years of Vanvas, this Gandharva is already done. He has already caught hold of Duryodhan. Now let's go to Hastinapur. It's all done now. We don't have to follow Duryodhan. It's all done. We'll just go there. Because Duryodhan is now gone. He's kidnapped. He will be killed. You know what Yudhishthir Maharaj said? He said, we may be cousins, but when it comes for the Kuru family, we are one. Therefore, we should go and fight. Arjuna went, fought, defeated all the Gandharvas, and freed Duryodhan. Can you imagine? Okay. So that's why a devotee, this is how a devotee is transcended to the three modes. Now, we may have a question, hey, how this is all possible for me? Isn't it? How is this possible for me? This is also all.
I was just asking you that also, that how to
Yeah.
apply this all into
Yes.
our life.
So the answer is in the 26th verse. It's a very important verse. So we'll read the Sanskrit also. 14.26. मां च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्ति योगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीयेतान् ब्रह्म भूयाय कल्पते. See, the word bhakti is used, guna is used, brahma bhuyaya is used, samatiyetani. Samatiyetani means transcendence. Samatitya. Samatitya. So who will transcend? One who does bhakti yoga. To whom? Mama. Here Mam is Krishna. One who does bhakti yoga to Krishna can overcome the three gunas and achieve Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate, will achieve the Brahma platform. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the three modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. How was Yudhishthir able to practice all these things that we discussed? Because he was doing bhakti yoga. So the answer is very simple. It's not complicated at all. We have to do bhakti yoga.
But Prabhuji, Arjun's bhakti was so pure, like our bhakti is not that much pure. So how to understand this thing?
Yeah. Okay. So we go through certain stages in bhakti. So we are going to discuss about that. Ado Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sangha Tatha Bhajana Kriya Tatha Anartha Nivritti Swat Tasto Nishtas Ruchis Tatha Asaktis Tatho Bhavas Tatha Prema Bhu Danachati Sadakanan Ayam Premaha Pradhurbhave Bhavet Krama. Krama means chronological order. This is how we will advance in bhakti. If we understand this, then then it will be zero. First is this beginning of faith. We get faith by, first is association of devotees. First we get into association of devotees. Then listening to them, we develop faith in Shastras, we develop faith in Krishna. Then we increase our association with pure devotees, with lot of devotees. Thereafter, one is initiated by spiritual master, and he does anartha nivritti and bhajana kriya. That happens when he executes regulatory principle under his order. When anartha nivritti happens, then one is firmly fixed in devotional service. Nishta. Then comes ruchi. Asakti. Asakti is attachment. Then we become attached to the process, attached to Krishna, attached to holy name, attached to everything related to Krishna. This is sadhana bhakti. And when it matures, it intensifies, gradually intensifies this awakening of love. First comes bhava. This awakening of bhava, emotions for Krishna. Then one gradually develops into love of Godhead. At this stage, love of Godhead stage, one is free from three modes of material nature. So where are we now? Where are we now?
So can you repeat the question of which you have answered just now? I couldn't follow it.
Okay. The question was, our bhakti is not like pure. Then how to do all this, how to transcend the three modes and all that. So for that we need to understand what kind of standards we need to follow, what kind of standards we need to graduate to. So this is the shloka. Ado Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sangha. First is the faith. We associate with devotees and develop faith in Shastras, in Krishna. That yes, I need to follow this process. Second, we increase the association with devotees, especially with pure advanced devotees, where we may get initiation, and in that initiation we will execute bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya is sadhana bhakti, is all the types of shravana, kirtanam, vishnu smaranam, hearing, chanting, remembering, all that processes we do under the guidance of spiritual master. Slowly anartha nivritti happens. Whatever anarthas, unwanted things are there, they get removed, and we become start fixing in devotion service. We develop certain taste. We like to go to temple, you know we like to chant, we like to read shastras. That taste is developing. We become attached to it. If somebody tells, let's go here and there, we are not interested. We'll go only to, temple and associate with devotees. So that's the asakti. And when it matures, when it intensifies, then we start getting bhava for Krishna. Bhava, that emotion will be there. Just like you may have emotion for your child. Whatever your name of your child be, Amar, Rakesh, uh, Dhriti, Shruti, whatever their name be. The moment you say the name of your child, you get emotions in your heart. Yes or no? The moment you say the name of your child, you get emotions in your heart. Isn't it?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Tell me one name of your child. Tell me name of your child.
Prabhuji, Kaustav.
What? Kaustub?
Kaustav.
Kaustub. Now, when I tell Kaustub and you tell Kaustub, there is a very great difference. What is the difference? When I tell Kaustub, Kaustub is a new person for me. But when you say Kaustub, your emotion is completely different, isn't it? You are able
Yes,
to
Prabhuji.
visualize Kaustub. I'm not able to visualize Kaustub. When I tell name of my child, then I am able to visualize him. So that bhava comes when one reaches this stage. When one says Krishna at this bhava stage, then he is having emotions for Krishna. And when that also becomes intensified, then one comes to pure devotion service. And at this stage, the three modes don't affect us. All the before stages, the three modes are affecting us. The most they affect us when we have faith, and they start reducing influencing us as we move towards bhava. And in prema, they cannot touch us. That's this verse is talking about. In full devotional service means prema. When he reaches prema, nobody can touch. I mean, the three modes cannot touch. Okay, does it help? Does this help, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so we will read this important purport. Then we have one more sloka. That's it. Okay, so can someone read this section? Can someone read? Can someone read, please?
Yes, Prabhu. Can I?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, this verse is a reply to Arjuna's third question. What is the means of attaining to the transcendental position? As explained before, the material world is acting under the spell of the modes of material nature. One should not be disturbed by the activities of the modes of nature. Instead of putting his consciousness into such activities, he may transfer his consciousness to Krishna activities. Krishna activities are known as Bhakti Yoga, always acting for Krishna. This includes not only Krishna but his different plenary expansions such as Ram and Narayan. He has innumerable expansions. One who is engaged in the service of any of the forms of Krishna or of his plenary expansions is considered to be transcendentally situated. One should also note that all the forms of Krishna are fully transcendental, blissful, full of knowledge, and eternal. Such personalities of Godhead are omnipotent and omniscient, and they possesses all transcendental qualities. So, if one engages himself in the service of Krishna or his plenary expansions with unfailing determination, although these modes of material nature are very difficult to overcome, one can overcome them easily. This has already been explained in the seventh chapter. One who surrenders unto Krishna at once
Surmounts.
the influence of the modes of material nature. To be in Krishna consciousness or in devotional service means to acquire equality with Krishna. The Lord says that his nature is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge, and the living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme. As gold particles are part of a gold mine, thus the living entity in his spiritual position is a good as gold, as good as Krishna in quality. The difference of individuality continues, otherwise, there would be no question of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means that the Lord is there, the devotee is there, and the activity of exchange of love between the Lord and the devotee is there. Can I read
Yeah, yeah, go
the
ahead.
next? Yeah, okay. Therefore, the individuality of two persons is present in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the individual person, otherwise, there would be no meaning to Bhakti Yoga. If one is not situated in the same transcendental position with the Lord, one cannot serve the Supreme Lord. To be a personal assistant or to a king, one must acquire the qualifications. Thus, the qualification is to become Brahman
Brahman.
or
Brahman.
Brahman or freed from all material contamination. It is said in the Vedic literature, Brahmeva san Brahmapi iti, one can attain the supreme Brahman by becoming Brahman. This means that one must qualitatively become one with Brahman. By attainment of Brahman, one does not lose his eternal Brahman identity as an individual soul.
Okay. So one of the things that this verse said was that he comes to the level of Brahman. Okay. So two words are used, Brahman and Bhakti. Now Brahman has two meanings. Brahma Jyoti. Have you heard this word? Brahma Jyoti.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, I'll just show you. So I've shown this picture many times, but it's very interesting. If you see, this is the Vaikuntha planets above, and this is the material world where there are many material worlds getting created by Mahavishnu, who is sleeping here. In between, what you see, this white thing is called Brahma Jyoti. From this Brahma Jyoti, everything is spiritual. Okay, the Brahma Jyoti itself is very spiritual. Okay, there is no material tinge in it. So, a transcendental yogi, one who's practicing yogi, they may merge into Brahman. Okay, they may merge into Brahman. But in this verse, Krishna has used the words bhakti. Now, when we talk about bhakti, they bhakti yogas, they don't have desire to merge into Brahman. Do you know why? Why a devotee is not desiring to merge into Brahman?
Because there is nothing to do actually.
Yeah,
Like we can
exactly.
exchange everything.
Krishna is not there and you're not interacting with Krishna. So when we talk about Bhakti Yoga, there is interaction. That's why Prabhupada in his purport, he's saying this very important line. He's saying Bhakti Yoga means Lord is there, devotee is there, exchange of activity is there. Okay, exchange of love and activity is there. Which in Brahma Jyoti doesn't happen. Does it happen here in the sky, Brahma Jyoti? Doesn't happen. It happens only when in the Vaikuntha planets. Therefore, Krishna uses the word bhakti. The moment he uses bhakti, the Brahma that he talks about, the Brahman that he talks about, is not the Brahma Jyoti. It is the Vaikuntha planets. Okay. Whenever bhakti is said and Brahma is said, Brahman is said, it doesn't mean the Brahma Jyoti, it means the Vaikuntha planets. Because bhakti means action and Brahma Jyoti means no action. There is no action. There is only peace. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Right? So in Vaikuntha, it is not like that. There is exchange of service between the Lord. And to explain that, Krishna specifically uses the word bhakti. Now one may have this question, okay, then what is the purpose of Brahman? Lot of people want to merge into Brahman. It is also spiritual. That means, is it great than Vaikuntha planets? So Krishna answers the next question. And we will read the shloka. It's a very nice shloka. Brahmano hi pratishthaham अमृतस्य अव्यस्य शाश्वतस्य धर्मस्य सुखस्य ऐकितान्तस्य च सुखस्य से कान्तिकस्य च सुखस्य एकान्तिकस्य च सुखस्य एकान्तिकस्य च एकान्तिकस्य. Okay, Krishna says this Brahman is okay. I am the basis of this impersonal Brahman. So this impersonal Brahman, the Brahma Jyoti, is coming from whom? Krishna. He is the basis. This Brahman is immortal, doesn't die, it doesn't perish, eternal. It is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Again, this has two meanings to it. This Brahmajyoti plus the Vaikuntha planets. And when Krishna talks about ultimate happiness, that is not in Brahman. In Brahman, there is peace. Ultimate happiness, bliss is only in Vaikuntha planets. Again, he is pointing to Vaikuntha planets. Okay. Okay, I'll read. The constitution of Brahman is immortality, imperishability, eternal happiness. Brahman is the beginning of transcendental realization. Paramatma, super soul, is middle, and second stage is transcendental realization, and the supreme person of God is the ultimate realization of absolute truth. See, those who are on path of spirituality, right? They first experience this Brahman. Second, then they experience Paramatma within the heart, and third is the Bhagwan. Therefore, both Paramatma and impersonalization are within the Supreme Person. So, Supreme Person, Bhagavan experience completes everything. It is explained in 7th chapter that material nature is a manifestation of the inferior energy of the Supreme Lord. The Lord impregnates the inferior material nature with fragments of spiritual nature, Jivatma, and does the spiritual touch in the material nature. When the living entity conditioned by this material nature begins cultivation of spiritual knowledge, that is what we are doing. We are cultivating spiritual knowledge. We are elevating us from the position of material existence, gradually rising to Brahman conception of life, to spiritual conception of the Supreme. This attainment of Brahman conception of life is the first stage in self-realization. At this stage, Brahman realized person is transcendental to the material position, but he is not actually perfect in Brahman realization. If he wants, he can continue to stay in Brahman position, then gradually rise up to Paramatma realization. Then he does Paramatma realization, he sees the Paramatma within his heart. There are many examples of this in Vedic literature. The four Kumaras were situated first in Brahman conception of truth. The four Kumaras, they were in Brahman conception, but then they grow to devotional service in the association of the Lord and Tulsi. Thus, one can elevate himself from the income's impersonal conception. Otherwise, one may risk a fall down. In the Srimad Bhagavad, it is stated that although a person may rise up to the stage of impersonal Brahman without going further, if no information of the Supreme Person, his intelligence is not very clear. Therefore, in spite of being raised to the Brahman platform, there is chance of falling down if one is not engaged in devotional service of the Lord. So what happens is, in this life, if one is achieved the Brahman realization, but if he doesn't do devotional service, there is a chance he may go, because the activity is not there. Activity is not there. So when one becomes peaceful, they want to be active, and at that point, if he does activity which is not spiritual, then he again falls down. So that's why person may reach Brahman platform, but if he doesn't know what to do after that, he may end up doing what he has always done, that is material things. So he will again fall down. In the Vedic tradition, it is said, so vaisa prasyam evayam labmanandi bhavati. When one understands the personality of God, the reservoir of pleasure, Krishna, he actually becomes transcendently blissful. The Supreme Lord is full of six opulences, and when a devotee approaches him in the exchange of these six opulences, the servant of the king enjoys on this almost the equal level with the king. And so, eternal happiness, imperishable happiness, eternal life, accompanying devotional service, everything. Therefore, realization of Brahman, eternal impersonality is all included in the devotional service. Everything is included in devotion. You don't have to separately do. The living entity, although Brahman by nature, has desire to lord it over the material nature, and thus he falls down. Okay, in his constant position, the living entity is above the three modes, but association with material nature entangles him in different modes of material nature. Okay, due to the association of three modes, this desire to dominate the world is there, but engagement in devotional service is immediately situated in transcendental position. So we fall down to this world, we get new bodies. One day we understand, okay, this is enough. We turn towards Krishna, we turn towards spirituality. That is the time our advancement starts. Hmm? Therefore, the process of devotional service, beginning with hearing, chanting, remembering, the prescribed 9 methods of realization, should be practiced in association of devotees. Okay, can someone read this highlighted section? Gradually by such association. Can someone read? Anyone there?
Okay, Prabhu, I will read it.
Read. This one, gradually by such association.
Yeah. So, gradually, by such association, by the influence of the spiritual master, one's material desire to dominate is removed, and one becomes firmly situated in the Lord's transcendental loving service. This method is prescribed from the 22nd to the last verse of this chapter. Devotional service to the Lord is very simple. One should always engage in the service of the Lord, should eat the remnants of foodstuffs offered to the deity, smell the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, see the places where the Lord had his transcendental pastimes, read of the different activities of the Lord, his reciprocation of love and of love with his devotees, chant always the transcendental vibration Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and observe the fasting days commemorating the appearances and disappearances of the Lord and his devotees. By following such a process, one becomes completely detached from all material activities. One who can thus situate himself in the Brahma Jyotir or the different varieties of the Brahman conception is equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in quality.
Okay. So you asked the question, or someone asked the question, how do we transcend? So the process is very simple. We should engage in the service of the Lord, practical service of the Lord. Eat prasadam, offer flowers, offer arti, go to places where Krishna performed pastimes. Can you name such places where Krishna performed pastimes?
Vrindavan, Mathura.
And just two options. And
Not names, remembering.
Jagannath Puri, Dwarka, Srirangam, all these places Krishna came and performed his activities. Pandarpur, Udupi, so many holy places are there. Guruvayur, Anantanab. So we go to all these places and we chant the holy name of Krishna, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Also, we observe the fasting. When which all days we observe fasting? Can you tell me? Can you name that day?
Prabhuji,
Huh?
Ekadashi, Ekadashi,
Ekadashi and
and other Acharyas, Tirobham or
yes, okay,
Janmashtami.
and Janmashtami, Radhashtami, Balram Purnima, Gaur Purnima,
Govardhana.
like that. But this is how we advance. We slowly become detached from this material world, and then we go back to Godhead. It is that simple. Okay. Okay. So, any questions or comments?
Prabhuji, it's like in these slokas, it says that uh, all the sattva guna will come to us if we perform this bhakti yoga. So I just want to know this, this anger or this anxiety is also included, uh, tamo and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
rajas.
yes,
So
yes.
how to make it neutral so that we can develop that sattva. Uh,
Okay, sure. Below. Okay. Okay. Which all quality you were talking about? Can you tell again? Anger
Yes, Prabhuji.
and what more?
Anxiety, tension.
Anger, anxiety. Okay. Okay. Let's start. Anger. So again, anger is generally in passion. Anger is generally in ignorance. When anger is in ignorance, what happens? It is madness. What happens in anger? Let's say a person may kill also in anger. Hmm? Madness, we'll say like that. If anger is in passion, what happens? Arguments, shouting, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhu.
When anger is in mode of goodness, then what happens? We use this anger in serving Krishna. Who used it? Do you know? Who burned the Lanka? Who burnt Lanka?
Hanuman?
Yeah. And he burnt Lanka not, it was anger only. But because he used his anger in serving Sri Ram, who had offended Ravana. Ravana had offended Ram and Sita. To punish them, he burned the whole Lanka. That was with great anger. Right?
Yes,
So,
Prabhuji.
this is how one uses anger. One uses anger in serving Krishna, in chastising those who offend Krishna, Rama, in bringing a person on the right path. Sometimes you have to show anger. Like all of you have children. You sometimes have to shout at the child and get angry on the child. Then only the child will come back to its and will listen, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Are you really angry with the child? Somewhat, yes. But you are not that much angry to kill or to get mad on it, right? You are angry to get the child, to rectify the child, to for the betterment of the child, isn't it? So therefore you show anger. That anger is sattva. So that anger which is not destructive, okay, that anger which is not indifferent, meaning we just don't care about that person, it's careless. And that anger which is done with a care, with intention of care and love, that anger is in mode of goodness. Does that help?
So this means that we are not hurting anyone,
Yeah, we
but
are we are showing anger to rectify that situation, to rectify the person, for the betterment of the person. We are showing anger. It is selfless. See, when anger is done with a selfless attitude, it is in mode of goodness. But in rajas it is selfless, it is selfish. And in tamas it is madness. No one no one benefits from that anger. In selfish, at least the person who is getting angry gets some benefit he gets. But in selfless, one is only concerned about the other person, the welfare of the other person. When with that intention, when one gets angry for the welfare of the other person, hmm, then it is okay. That anger
and
which is used to protect, to save a person, like army people, they have to get angry to kill the terrorist. Without anger they cannot do anything, right? So that anger is in mode of goodness. When the result is good, then we can say anger is good. Then, yes.
Prabhuji,
Hmm.
sometimes like you give an example like children. So like being a mother, sometimes you get angry and also like beat them. So it's like a selfless. Obviously, it's not doing for my satisfaction or his betterment. So is it also like sadhva or like
See, the
how
thing
can you
is,
say?
right? The thing is, whether the anger subsides or not, that is also another question. If it is remaining, then it is not in sattva. Sattva means there is a control over your emotions. But if the anger is continuing, even when the person is rectified, just because I want to get angry on that person, then that is in rajas. It is misery, oneself and others. And when the anger just continues and makes person a mad, then it is in tamas. You understand? If one is able to withdraw from that anger, just use it for that particular instance and then withdraw it, then it is in sattva.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So if we have a control over that anger, then it is in sattva. And that anger is used for an intention of with love and care, for the intention of the betterment of the other person, not with selfish attitude, not with selfish desire, but with a selfless attitude. Just like a teacher may get angry over a student, but for that, but it is for the benefit of the student. And second thing, the teacher is not unnecessarily getting angry. Sometimes we hear some news. The teacher beat the child. That is stupidity. The anger has to be under our control. Okay, the anger should be under our control. Okay, okay. Any last question or comment?
And Prabhuji, how to tension, sometimes tension we get from the material side also. So, it can also be categorized like sattva, tamas, or rajva?
Yeah, yeah. Tension, anxieties. In tamas, it will lead to madness, nervous breakdown. If the tension grows so high that it becomes nervous breakdown, you have seen some people, they just cannot talk also. When the tension is rajas, one person will cry and all that. He will cry, become inactive, misery. He needs medical attention. Now here, I will use an example. There's a very nice book, Seven Habits of that quadrant of concern. Okay, this one will use example, and then second we will say quadrant of urgent, important. Hmm. These two things we will take example and we'll understand. I'll just take 2 more minutes. Okay. Where is PPT? Okay. So tensions, anxieties are always there. Okay. It's not like it's not there. It will just come. How we deal with them tells us whether we are dealing with them in sattva, rajas or tamas. We discussed about sattva, rajas and tamas. Okay, if we get a nervous breakdown and all that, we are dealing with them in ignorance. If we cry, inactive and all that, then we are dealing with rajas. When do we deal it in sattva? First thing is we need to understand that there is a certain things we can control and certain things we cannot control, but we have concern over that. Hmm? Now if the tension is within the circle of control, then we can control, we can do whatever we want. But if it is in the circle of concern, then we need not cry over it. You understand? Let's take example. Let's take you have a tension that you're growing fat every day. Now growing fat, can you influence it? Can you control it? That is the question. And the
Yes, we
answer
can
is
compare.
yes. So it lies inside control. So you will say, okay, how I exercise, what I eat, where I live, how I work, I will control these things. With this, I will control my weight. I'll control my health. So then the tension is handled properly, isn't it? If one does all these activities, 3, 4 activities, then he can control his weight. He can make his health better. That's what we see on YouTube. People control, people do things, then better things happen in their life. So that tension that they have is manageable now. They are able to tackle it. That's why it is in mode of goodness now. They are not getting nervous breakdown because of that. They are not getting mad or crying because of that. They are able to understand what is the circle of control. Now, someone has tensions of wars. Someone has tensions of inflation. Is it in our center of control? Is war in our control? Ukraine, Russia is war. Israel is having war. Is there what we can do? You and me can do? No, right?
Yes.
But some tension is there. Some tension you have, some tension I have. I, as a man, may have tension over my stocks. You, as a woman, may have tension over prices of commodities. Today, milk became costly. Today, this became costly because of war, isn't it? But if we cry over it, if we get mad over it, that is not good, no? So sattva means to understand, to categorize where it lies, concern or control. The moment we understand it is not in our control, but it is in our circle of concern, we detach from it. Okay, we detached. Okay, I cannot do anything. I won't put pressure on myself because of that. I'll tell you an example. A woman, she was worried, how will her niece get married? Okay, brother's daughter will get married. Does this woman have that concern in control or in concern? Where it is there? Can she do something or she cannot do something? What is your
Uh,
opinion?
if the brother sister relationship in a good,
She can put
they,
some effort, right? She
yes,
can put some effort.
yes,
Now, after putting effort, if nothing happens, then it falls in the circle of concern, right? Isn't it? If
yes,
we
Prabhu.
put effort and then after that nothing is happening, okay, अभी उसका कर्मा है या फिर उनके फादर मदर को देखना है, right? या she has to herself see. Why to be in tension? अरे क्या होगा उसका? अरे क्या होगा? अरे क्या होगा? No, that is not good, na? What you did, you did. If you don't do that also, then that is also not good. You do your something part of it and then leave the rest. This is how by categorizing we can handle. So sattva means to able to categorize. Sattva means to able to separate key where it is lying, control or influence. or concern, and then dealing with it. When we use our intelligence, then we are in sattva. Does this help, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Now,
It's
another
lots of
way
help.
to look at it is tensions come in our life uninvited. Like your child may get, I mean, children, they may get sick. आ गया टेंशन, अरे बीमार पड़ गया, टेम्परेचर बढ़ रहा है, टेंशन आ गया. So there, this metrics come into help. Urgent, not important, important. If somebody is having medical issue, where it lies? Here, 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 here. In which quadrant it lies? Of course, here. It's important, urgent. It is important, yes. And it is urgent also. You have to give the medicine quickly. So you act on it. Don't just sit and cry over it or a temperature aa gaya. No, you go to doctor, you take the medicine, then tension come. Isn't it? If you don't do that, then we'll unnecessarily increase our tension. So sattva means to know where things are lies, what is urgent, what is important, and to immediately act on it. Resourcefulness. That is sattva. Now, India Pakistan cricket match. Is it important? Is it urgent? Tell me.
No, no,
Okay.
completely no.
This question goes to your husband. For husband, is it important, urgent? Your husband likes
No,
cricket, right? I'm assuming he likes cricket. Yes or no?
Prabhuji, yes, for
He
the
likes.
general, you can say
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Okay, okay. For you, it is not important, not urgent. So whether India wins, whether Pakistan wins, you have no concern only, right? Isn't it? Yes, Mataji. Isn't it? Are you a fan of cricket?
No.
No, no. So for you, whoever wins, no concern only, right? No problem, right?
Mm.
But you see your husband, or you see all the men, for them, India lost, what will happen, this tension, that tension, isn't it?
Yes.
So they have to then decide, okay, is it important? For some people that may be important, but is it urgent? Is it urgent?
No.
It's not
No.
urgent, so they'll put it here. It's not urgent, but it is maybe important, so I can just see the highlights. I need not see the whole thing. I can see highlights. For some people it is not important, not urgent. I don't take, I think it's a waste of time. Just for like you, it's a waste of time. You are not at all concerned. You will sleep nicely. But for some, it may be important. India हार गया, नींद नहीं आ रहा है मेरे को. So the point is, if they can categorize it into these four categories, right? Urgent, not urgent, important, not important, they can reduce the tension. And sometimes they can completely eliminate it. Like you can completely eliminate the tension of cricket match, isn't it? But
Yes.
your husband cannot. Is that true? Is that true, Mataji?
Yes.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, yes.
Okay. The point I want to mention is that if we can categorize it and we put na, we can reduce our tensions. Similarly, if we categorize it like control, concern, and all that, then we can handle it, and that's how sattva plays into the role. Okay.
Yes,
Same
Prabhuji.
way,
Thank you.
yeah. Same way we have to now take each and everything in our life, and we have to look through this lens of three modes. Okay, and bring it to the sattva. The thing is, when we bring it to sattva, the result will be good. Okay. Any last question?
No, Prabhuji, from yes.
Okay. Okay. So we'll stop here. We'll meet tomorrow and start with the 15th chapter. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.